Like I said, didn't know exactly what time I was going to be going on, so we're doing it now, and I'm gonna Tony Robbins recap, and I'm gonna try to keep it concise, but I also want to tell you everything. I wish I could have stuck you all in my pocket and taken you with me, because let me first just say, there is no way I can do justice to the experience of Tony Robbins. No way, no way. So I hope to provide you with some awesome information. I'm probably going to have some reminders for you, some new things you've never heard before. But at the end of the day, I need to leave you with the fact that if there is anything in your life that you feel like isn't coming together, if there's changes that just seem like they can't quite be made on your own, if you want more, if you are unhappy, if you're basically any reason at all, you go to Tony Robbins. Go to Unleash the Power Within. I'm quite certain it'll change your life. If you can get out of your comfort zone, because let me tell you, some of the heaviest emotional experiences of my life. Like, I don't know that ever again I will, unless I attend another Tony Robbins event, which I want to go to Business Mastery, and I want to go to Date with Destiny. I'm going to go to the Business Mastery, and I'm going to go to Date with Destiny. That is probably going to like be the only emotionally huge event like this. Like, you guys, it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. So let me just apologize first and foremost that there's no way I'm going to do justice to Tony Robbins, but I'm going to try my best. Hey, Nikki. Hey, Carly, Crystal, Cecily. Hey, girls. Hey. If you have questions as we're going on, please chime in. Let me know. Hi, Jenna. Oh my gosh. Mind blown. It was so crazy. It was so crazy. I'm going to do my best. I'm also going to apologize because, you guys, I am finding I'm not a cusser. I'm just not. Like, period, I am not a cusser. There's a reason Tony Robbins cuss. There's a whole method to his madness in the way he runs these seminars to like leave you with the most fully impacted experience. You guys, it's not like going to a seminar where you're like, well, that was nice, I learned some stuff. No, you are literally a transformed human. Like, that seems obsessive and huge and like a big word, right? Aggressive, I guess I should say. That seemed like an aggressive word. But I'm a transformed woman, and it's because you feel all the feels. So we're going to dive in. Okay. The first thing, which if you girls are in the Giving Girls community, I will share the link below to the Giving Girls membership community. I know most of you know that Cassie and I do the Giving Girls, which is just another like encouragement place for all of us business ladies. We just made that public, and I did a video in that group as well. I'm going to go more in depth here, so you guys are going to hear me ramble on a lot longer, but if you want to, in the upcoming weeks, Cassie's going to talk about her experience too, and we're two completely different people. So she's going to share that with you as well. Also, just so you know, I've been talking with Cassie. She is truly a productivity task freaking master. She's been like lining up my life to become more efficient at what I do. And I've asked her if she would speak in this group as well, so she can line up all your lives as well. So if you're feeling a little bit like, oh, I can't juggle all the things, I would like to share Cassie with you because she's changing my life. So, don't worry, Jenna. It's okay. Okay. So the first thing Tony talks about, so day one, go in. I am like not knowing what to expect, right? I'm a little nervous. All I really know beforehand is like we don't break much and it's going to be cold. So I'm like nervous that I have enough snacks, and I'm going to give you like the full insider experience. I'm nervous that I don't have enough snacks, and I'm worried about being cold and that I have to be open-minded, right? I'm like, all right, I'm going to go into this and I'm going to go all in on everything. So for me, being vulnerable, the thing that I really knew I wanted to get out of it was I have a lot of things going for me. I'm confident that I have a lot of gifts to give. Productivity and organization, not my thing. It's not my thing. I literally, for SeneGence, my first year at Leaders, I took a test. Organization basically is like non-existent. Like they gave me like the smallest like mark to say like it must be inside of you somewhere probably, but like it literally is like the thing that I'm incapable of. So I went into it kind of in the back of my mind being like, Tony, if you can transform anything, help me understand, help me renew, help me come away from this, able to like come into like productivity and organization, because I know that's the thing that's holding me back, right? I know that my limitations lie in the fact that I am unable to organize, and things that shouldn't take me very long end up taking me much longer. And I end up constantly feeling like I'm running around juggling things. Give me a 1 or raise your hand if you feel the same way, right? I'm sure I'm not the only one. So that was what I knew like one of my crutches was. And so that was kind of a big thing, right? The thing I wanted to be changed about. Hi, Tammy. So went in, nervous, all the things, hoping that that's what he's going to change. So we go in the first day, and you guys, it started at noon, and we got home at 1:30, and it felt like maybe all of 4 hours. Like Joe, I kept telling Joe, my husband, about like how long the days were and that we weren't like breaking to eat or anything like that. And he was like, this is sheer torture. That's torture. I can't believe they're putting you through that. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I didn't want to leave. Like, I was hardly drinking any water because I was afraid that I'd have to go pee, and I didn't want to miss a single moment. Like, he is that captivating of a person. Amazing. So he comes out, and you guys, it is like dancing and jumping and singing, and he's very high energy. So the big thing that he kind of starts with is like, beware of the I know mentality. And I love this. And I love this because, you guys, I've done it before. I know you have done it before, and I hear it a lot too, right? They're like, oh, I know. Yeah, I know. Oh, I know I need to do that. Oh, I know. How many of you, I'm going to put y'all on the spot, because I've done this too. I'm not saying I'm not guilty. I've done this too. How many of you have been in SeneGence long enough that you kind of just don't watch videos anymore, right? Like, you see people come on and you're like, I've kind of learned everything I can from them. I don't need to really watch this because I know that, right? We know it, right? I know. Guilty, you guys. And I'm being vulnerable with you on this today. I'm going to share all my heart. But I'm going to go and assume that a few of you have done that as well too, right? You've seen some live videos come on, or Work It Wednesday recaps, or this or that. And you've gotten into this like, well, I know how to wow. I know how to demo. I know how to book. I know how to direct. But are you executing it? And that's what Tony's thing is, right? Knowledge is potential power. Execution is the power, you guys. So don't get stuck in the I know mindset. And I know, like, this hit me hard, and I was taking notes because I'm like, oh my gosh, my girls, like we need this, right? Because I know I am not the only one. I know. But this is a common thing, right? How many of us, if you get real with yourself, and this is what you gotta go to Tony Robbins, you gotta get real with yourself, you gotta dig into the ugly spots. How many of you feel like you're fully executing what you know? I'm gonna guess there's not very many hands going up in the air being like, I execute with precision everything I know. There is not a minute that I leave something out. We're not. So that's the first thing, right? Knowledge is potential power. Execution is the power. And don't fall into the I know mindset. We can always be growing. We can always be learning more. And we can, for sure as heck, always be executing more. And he talks about this too, you guys, like the stuff you hear over and over again about, like, you got to get out there. You got to try it. You got to be doing it. Practice makes perfect. It truly does. We do not get any better. The only reason Tony Robbins is who he is because for 41 years, you guys, 41 years, he jokes, he's like, I've been attending seminars for 41 years. Like, you know, the power of knowledge, the power of training, the power of repetition. He's like, of course I'm my best self. Like, I show up to these trainings multiple times a year for 41 years. But it's true, right? We need to take that knowledge, but then we need to, you know, get in front of people and be encouraged to execute what we know. So he goes on then about, like, passive listening is not enough, right? You have to be moving your physiology, because when you just listen to it, there's a small level of retention. When you write it down, the retention grows a little bit. When you're moving while you're learning it, right? When you're doing the activity, you're learning and you're doing it. I mean, how many of you can think of a time in your life when you sat in a class and learned something and it like, oh yeah, I remember that pretty well, versus I went and did it, right? You learn it so much faster when you go and do it. So that's what his thing is he's like, for 4 days straight, we are going to be moving, learning, repeating. Like, I mean, it's just like, there's no way you can walk away from Tony Robbins without some stuff ingrained in your mind, right? We're not just sitting through it all. So movement changes the way you think and feel. And this is kind of the next thing he goes into, is talking about energy. And I so believe in this. Y'all know how I feel about personal development. Like, I love personal development. I love it. I love it. I believe that we are all just cracking open the limits of our capabilities, right? Like most of us are not even getting close to tapping out our full potential. And so that's kind of what personal development is all about. And that's what Tony Robbins is all about. So if you don't know much about Tony Robbins, he's not a motivational speaker. He jokes, he's like, I'm not fixing broken people. I think my husband was like concerned I was going to come back like changed, right? He was really, and he actually said that to me. He's like, I just didn't know what you'd be like when you came back. And I'm like, I'm just me, more awesome. So that's good. Nobody's going to complain about that, right? Like, me better. It's great. So anyways, going back to energy, I have always believed in like the power of energy, right? And that what you put out, you attract more of. I am very much a strong believer in that. I feel like in my life, I have experienced much of the fact that because I am a high energy person, and I've always naturally been a pretty high energy person, things just continue to come into my life. And I'm not saying it's just luck. I work hard too, you guys, and I work hard to keep my high energy up. Like, I do a lot of personal development. But it lends to opportunity in life. I really fully believe that, versus people that are low energy people. And you guys know, so high energy, low energy, what's the difference between that? So high energy is what you think it would be, right? It's positivity, grace, understanding, optimism, gratefulness, joy, happiness, excitement. It's all of the stuff we want more of, right? We all want more peace, joy, excitement, adventure, curiosity. I mean, so many things live in high energy land. And low energy then is fear, jealousy, rejection, hate, disdain, insecurities, all of those, depression. That's low energy. So we all flux between all of them, right? Like we've all experienced ranges of emotion, but Tony Robbins wants to teach you what high energy is, and then how to get yourself in a high energy state, how to be aware of when you're not in a high energy state, and how to snap yourself back into a high energy state so you're in control of your mind. That's what this whole thing is about at Unleash the Power Within, is that the fact that most of us are not tapping into our full potential. And this is kind of the most basic way he starts explaining it. So you want to live, obviously, like, I don't know about you, I can eliminate if I could just cross off and get rid of all the low energy feelings and never experience them again, I would be okay with that, but that's not life. So we want to be aware and be in a high energy state, experiencing all the good stuff. And you can probably think too, going back to talking about before about like the opportunities, the future, the goals, the dreams, the achievements, the purpose. When you're a high energy person, most high energy people are moving towards that. And obviously most low energy people, they're going away from that, right? And they might be pushing towards it, but they need to change themselves, right? Instead of being like, oh, those people up there, they just have it. I'm just trying to get ahead, and it's not my fault, and I'm just trying. Well, the problem is they're trying to push through and get their way up there. If you feel like you're a low energy person, or if you know someone that's a low energy person, that change starts in yourself. And then all of a sudden you're saying, oh, I'm not settling for this. I'm going to get up there, and you're going to pull yourself through, right? You're going to pull yourself instead of try to shove your way in there, is kind of the analogy that Tony used with that. So he talks about one of the best things you can do is change your state. And he shares that, like, so I've talked about this before, and some of you might know this, but basically, like, our thoughts, our limiting beliefs, like what's in our headspace determines our actions. And of course, our actions, the things we actually do every day, whether it's for your business or not, right? The things you do determines your results. So the first step you need to do, if you're not getting, so you start with the results. If your results aren't what you want, you need to change your actions. And before you can change your actions, you need to change this guy, right? You need to change what he calls your state. And there's two ways to change your state. You change it by focus, you change it by physiology. So state is high energy or low energy. So you're either a high energy or you're either in a high energy or low energy state. And we go through this throughout the day, right? Every single day I go through high energy and low energy states, but most people kind of live somewhere, right? You want to live higher than where you lived before. And that's Tony's whole thing, is like, if you're living here, you're going to live here or higher, etc. Even myself, I'm a high energy person. I want to live higher. I'm never going to stop striving to like live at my ultimate self. Does that make sense? So to change your state, you change your focus or you change your physiology. So physiology is the easiest thing. So we'll start with that. So physiology is your movement, right? So if you're in a state, you're somewhere, you're like, I'm at this conference, like seminars coming up, right? And I'm just going to be honest with you. There are some things that we talk about at seminar that aren't exactly sit at the edge of your seat information, right? The poor IT guy, when IT comes on the stage and he's got some like really pertinent, relevant news that we want to all know about, most people are like, oh, okay, I'm going to get my phone out for this, and no, I don't really need, where versus like Joni comes out and everyone's like, oh my God, it's Joni, right? So you're at seminar, IT guy comes out and you're like, I'm just going to get my phone. I don't really need to pay attention. What happens? What happens to your state? You sit back in your chair, you slump down a little bit. You're like, oh God, how long is this guy going to talk? You're not going to be in a high energy state, right? So to change your state, you need to like sit up, maybe dance around a little bit and be like, I don't know what this guy's going to talk about, but I'm here. I'm present. I'm bringing my state up because I'm not going to fall down into that low energy state. Same thing with like kids, right? Like I'm going to start implementing this with my kids. Like my kids can sometimes take me into a low energy state. I don't know if any of you experience that or it's just me. When I start feeling that, right? Because nothing good comes out of a low energy state. My actions, when I go into a low energy state with my kids, what are my actions going to be? Not good. What are my results going to be? Probably not good. So I'm going to start implementing like dance parties, and I'm going to try to find like a specific song, right? Because that then is the repetition, right? And especially with little kids. So I'm going to like kind of implement like when we start falling apart at my house, myself included, I'm going to be like, all right, it's our happy song, or I haven't fully thought through what I'm going to call it and what we're going to do, but that's going to be the cue of like, we're going to shake it out. We're going to get silly. We're going to get playful, and everybody's hopefully going to be like giggling and having fun and loving each other. When we get done with that, excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat, that we're going to raise our state, our actions, all of our actions are going to be better, and the results are going to be better. So, oh gosh, excuse me, tickle in my throat. So that's one of the ways you can do it. So for even me in my office, Uptown Funk is my jam, you guys. It just makes me happy just hearing it. Like you can't like, like I can't not dance to Uptown Funk. So that's my cue. Like if I start getting in a frustrated state in my office, if I start getting like, oh God, I don't know how to do this, or if I start like kind of zoning out, or I see that maybe I'm just like wasting time on social media instead of doing what I need to do, I'm going to drop everything. I'm going to play Uptown Funk, and I'm going to dance like my life depends on it, like in the most playful, silly way possible, because then I'm going to be able to come back and I'm going to be like, okay, my state is better. So my actions and my results will be better. So that's one way. That's one way to change state, is how you move. The other way is to change your focus. You guys, I was going to try to go so fast through this, and I just want to share everything with you. The other way is to change your focus. So I know I'm not the only one in this. Have you ever experienced a time where you started with something and your head just took you to another place? For me, like the ideas, the things that come to my mind most quickly are relationships. Thoughts that I've had in relationships, right? Like I have argued with my husband before, and it's been like, oh, this argument, and like when I was still going to work. By the time I had my 45-minute drive from our door to work, I was like, I'm just oh, I'm so mad. Like, I'm going to go back home and I'm going to tell him how it is. And, oh, I bet he'll say this. Oh, he will probably say that. Oh, and then this is what I'm going to do. And then he's going to say this. And, oh, by that time, then I'm going to threaten to move back to Nebraska. And then, like literally. And I'm telling you, I'm sharing this with you because you're my girls. And I know that there has been times your mind has taken you there. I know I'm not the only one, right? Like, where all of a sudden a few words happen and before the end of it, you're like, I'm getting a hotel, I'm moving out, he's never getting in the house again, his clothes are going on the yard, he doesn't even know what hit him. And then you get home and you actually talk about it and you're like, well, I maybe took that a little far. I'm a little embarrassed. You know, or different things too. Or if you're single or you've been in a dating relationship where, you know, they don't call for a while and you're like, oh, I just know he's cheap, right? Like you have a 15-minute delay in the text response or the phone call. And then before you know it, in 15 minutes, you have come to the conclusion that he's cheating on you. You're going to leave him. He's never going to know what hit him. Our head does that. Our focus does that, right? And where, in that instance, where did your focus take your state? Straight down into the sewer, like down so fast. Like, and that was just focus, you guys. That is just the power of our mind. Just the power of your mind can take you there. On the flip side, think about my husband, you know, for the day, just starts the morning and I'm making coffee and he comes out and says like, honey, I'm so grateful for you. Like, I just need you to know, I've got to run out the door really quick, but I don't think I tell you enough how beautiful you are and the wonderful mother that you are and how much I love you. And I'm like, oh, I'm so blessed. Oh my God, like I'm so loved. Where's my state then, right? Like my focus is on, like redirected. I'm totally in an up state. So and then in both of those instances, right? Like, so imagine I'm home. I've had a conversation where my husband just pissed me off and I've had a conversation where my husband totally just uplifted me. So two different, totally different states. If the same doorman, say a guy comes to my door to say like, I've got a flat tire, can you help me? A guy comes to my door to ask for help with a flat tire in this state, and I'm going to be like, are you freaking kidding me? Of course. Like, freaking this day could not get any worse. Oh my gosh, I'm pissed off. I'm like, get my freaking shoes. I probably can't find my shoes, the ones I want to wear, and I'm probably going to stumble on a rock and it's going to hurt my toe, and like everything is just against me. Versus when I'm in this state, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry you have a flat tire. Yes, give me a minute. Do you need anything else? Can I get you a glass of water? Can you, like I'm in a different state. I'm going to react completely differently. So that's the importance of state, you guys, is that, again, your actions, what were my actions in those two different states? I was a shithead and I was awesome, right? Like I was a kind, caring, loving, blessed person and I was pissed. All I could see was the suck. I could not see past the suck. Therefore, my actions resulted in that. And that is the power of our minds and the power that, like, you guys, we control this thing. Most of us let this control us. We let this thing take us to places, determine outcomes before they've even happened. And no, we're in charge. Like Tony, and if you've ever seen Tony, you know he like drops the F-bomb like it's his job. I mean, he was just like joking around and he's like, I wake up in the morning, he's like, most of you guys out there are like, you know, oh, my mind this, my mind that. He's like, if my mind is trying to tell me we can't do something, he's like, I just stand up and I'm like, you're my fucking bitch. And like, I'm like, we're doing it, you guys. Like, you are my mind. We're doing it, right? So I was like, that to me is so powerful. So raise your state, right? And a lot of you probably, if you're being real with yourself, and I want you to be real with yourself of like what state you live in most often, how do you feel your outcomes are, right? How do you feel your results are? How do you feel about the joy in your life? Where you're living right now, what's going on, not like physically where you're living, but like what life is or what life feels like to you, is a direct correlation of the state you kind of find yourself in most often. I can use my husband as an example because he's not in this group. Is like, my husband is a more low energy person, right? And we balance each other out because of that. Like, I bring up his energy. Sometimes he brings down my energy, but sometimes maybe that needs to happen because I'm pretty high energy. But like after I came back, like we were talking and I'm like, this is why, like, he's been looking for a new job for a long time, and he's just never can find what he wants. It's never quite, you know, and work is something that brings him into an even lower energy state. And I'm like, we gotta figure out how to raise your energy in this spot, because you're never going to find a way out of this job if every time we are talking this talk, your energy goes down. So step up. Yes, Brittany. Oh, so Brittany, I just have to share this with you guys. Brittany has been to UPW before, and she was like giving me advice, and we were talking about it beforehand. And I'm like, Brittany, she's like the one person besides Cassie that I can talk to them. Like, you understand, like, I am the voice. Step up. Like, say yes. Like, oh guys, you have to go. You join a whole new cult when you go to UPW, but it's the most awesome. Like, it's great. Okay, so something that I thought about when he was talking about state, he was telling all these different stories, but here's something that I thought of immediately for us as SeneGence distributors. So, most people can't change their life because they can't change the way they feel. They think they can't change the way they feel. You are in control of that. You have the key to unlock, move your body, change your focus, change the way you feel, change the way your life is. Like, simple as that. Like, literally simple as that. Those are the keys. And as I was thinking about this, he was talking about like everything we do in life, we're in it for the emotion, right? We're in it for the emotion. We don't make really any decisions for need. It all comes back to emotion. And I've talked about that a little bit before, like especially as selling, right? Like why people buy products. But this is everything in your life too. So you need to apply that into life. And something I was thinking about that we can directly take into our business is when you're in front of people. And specifically, I was thinking about parties, right? Like, you actually can be a tool in helping to change the state of others, right? So I love parties. In general, I would say I have successful parties, right? Like, I feel confident in my ability to make sales and to have parties. I'm a high energy person. Instead of just waiting, so like at parties, right? Like people are coming in, they're maybe unsure. Maybe some people don't want to be there. Maybe some people are excited to be there. You know, you're getting this whole gamut of people coming in through the door. What do most of us do at parties, right? We maybe stand back by the table. We're kind of greeting people as they come in, but like, hi, how's it going? Hey, hi. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. You know, oh, maybe we're shaking some hands. I want to encourage you to level up your state, like bring it up, right? High energy. And I want to encourage you to go out and, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. Hi. Okay. What's your name? Okay. It is wonderful to meet you. I'm so glad that you're here. Well, my name's Brandi. I'm the Lip Sense lady. And okay, head over here. We're going to get started before you know it. This is going to be so much fun, right? So much fun. You are the tool, the instrument to help other people raise their state, right? So as women are coming in and like, everyone's in control of their own state, right? So someone might come in and just decide like, I'm pissed and I'm going to stay pissed for whatever reasons, outside reasons. They're in control of their own state. But a lot of times, how many times have you been around and you can think of someone that when you're around them, you're just like, I just love being around them, right? Oh, I love these people. They're so fun. I love being around them. They level up your state. How many people can you think of that you're like, oh God, do I have to be around that person? Like, oh, they're draining, right? Oh, nothing, never have anything good to say, just negative, negative, negative. You also have that power. So be conscious when you're at vendor shows, when you're doing demos, when you're doing makeup, even when you're talking on the phone to people, what state are you in, right? It's not gonna be a really good idea to talk to a new distributor or a potential recruit or a customer when you're in a poor state. So if something crappy happened, my kids just the other day crawled up on the counter and like dumped like everything off made this huge mess. There was like French fries. I came out, I'm like, I literally just had to run in and go pee, and now there's fry sauce on the floor. Like, what happened? Like, the best thing for me to do isn't just get on the phone and be, hi, yeah, no, it's good. So let's talk about some things. No, what I need to do is take a minute to like, okay, I'm in charge of my state. I'm in charge of my state, and I'm a badass, and I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to bring the energy, and then proceed from there. So just be aware of that. I really, really thought about that with just parties, like how you have the ability to get people excited to buy our products. Like literally, you have that ability, and it's when you catch them when they're coming in the door. Don't wait until everybody's sat down around the table to be like, okay guys, now I'm so excited that you're all here. Like, get their state change when they step in the door. Make it so they have no other choice than to be excited to be with you for the next hour or two. Okay? Okay. Yes. Okay. Oh, so many things that are going on. I love some comments that he made on like, what's wrong is that thought is always available, right? Like, oh, this just doesn't work, or if only I had more time. And we're all a little guilty of that, right? I'm guilty too. Like, I'm not calling anybody out because I say it too, but like, oh, if I just had more time, if I just had this, I'm so mad. Like, we don't have enough money, and this never works out, and my husband's never home, and my customers suck, and nobody ever responds to my posts, and everything I'm doing is a waste of time. Those thoughts, those what's wrong thoughts are always available, but so are the what's right thoughts, okay? And that's your choice. Like, I hope this is impacting you. I hope I'm like a sliver of Tony Robbins in your ear, because truly the what's right posts are always there too. And if we're being honest with ourselves, a lot of the times, the thing that's limiting us, like we're hanging on to the what's wrong comments because it's an excuse. It doesn't have to turn that lens back on ourselves of what we are limiting ourselves on. So just have that real talk and focus on what's right. And then before you know it, you're going to raise your state and you're going to realize all of a sudden, I can see more of what's right. I'm not focused on what's wrong. I'm focused on what's right. And he talks a little bit about like seeking ye shall find, even if it's not there, and kind of the reference of like the car. You never see this car you want or this dog you want until you're shopping for that dog, shopping for that car. Same thing. He had us go around the room and he was like, okay, I want everybody to count as many brown things as you can see, right? And so we're going around, and we're like, okay, I'm counting all these brown things. And he's like, okay, stop. He's like, tell me how many things you counted and stuff. And then he starts going in, seek and ye shall find, right? A lot of times, even if it's not there. So seek and ye shall find a lot of times if it's even not there. And he said, okay, how many brown things did you find? How many of those were really maybe taupe? How many of those were beige? How many of those? And he's like, this is the thing, you guys. Like, if you are in a low energy mindset or a positive energy mindset, you're going to turn situations, right? Like, how many times has a positive person said like, well, it could be worse and it's okay. Don't worry. This is just a learning experience. A positive person will see what they see. And even if it's a bad situation, they'll see the good, right? They'll turn it into the good. Where a negative person, right? Negative energy, you might have kind of a decent or kind of good situation and they'll still be bad. Well, it could have been better. It was okay, but it could have been better. Ugh. You seek and you shall find. You will turn brown. You will turn beige into brown. You will turn taupe into brown. You will turn cream into brown if that's where your mindset was. And I was like, oh yeah, that's true. And I know people like that. So, and then he just talks about, you need to have radical state change, right? You need to, like, if you're feeling yourself sink down, like, get up and dance. So throughout the whole thing, you guys, if you can imagine 12 to 13 hours every single day, right? There were points in time where I was probably standing for 3 hours straight. Now think about that. Usually when you're standing up at something, you're like, oh my God, are we going to get to sit down soon? Like, I used to play in the marching band, and I can't tell you, we'd stand for like 10 minutes and I'd be like, oh my God, like, oh, I'm going to die. I'm pretty sure I'm going to die at any minute from standing another second. And you're like, can't do it. 3 hours when your focus is somewhere different is crazy. But there was such purpose in it. And he had us up dancing and screaming yes. And I actually, this morning, I was like, my alarm clock went off and I'm like, oh man, is it time to get up already? And I'm like, say yes. And I'm like, pop up out of bed. Like, it's a whole new mindset, you guys. Literally transformed my life with my mindset. Another thing that I thought we could use that was really, really amazing. And he was like, if you're in a situation where people are in a different state, he's like, don't tell. He's like, start asking people questions to put them in a different state. So I love this for like disgruntled customers, or again, say you have somebody that's like, well, that's just too expensive, right? I'm not going to do that. And a lot of times we find ourselves telling them like, oh no, really it's not. It's so amazing and it's going to be so worth it, right? Right? We do that. So somebody comes at you, and this is so applicable in life as well. Like, when someone comes at you they're in a negative state, they're grumpy about something, they're mad, but I'm really thinking for us in this purpose as like customers, right? Or a distributor is mad, like, oh, like I had this thing happen and I'm just really upset about it. Oh no, it's gonna be okay. Let's make a phone call. Don't worry. We'll get it all solved and all that stuff. He said, start asking questions, right? Start asking questions to kind of get them in a state change. A lot of times, so our brain, like our thought patterns, right? Our thoughts, where they live, we need to disrupt those, right? So by asking a question, all of a sudden they're on a rant, they're mad, they're pissed. You ask them a question and they're like, oh, disruption in their thought pattern. And that's going to change their state. So something to think about that, of how you can do that. He talks a lot about how like gratitude is always the answer, right? Like a grateful heart, when you come at things gratefully, that's always going to change your state. Always. I mean, think about just even now after this video, after you get done, maybe set a timer and just try to think for a full minute of things that you're really grateful for. Your heart will feel fuller. If you really truly commit to the full minute and close your eyes and like really think it, like I think of my kids' laughter and my children's giggles, and like if I'm really concentrating on that, my state is in a different place when I open my eyes after 60 seconds. So he talks about every morning, like priming the pump, like starting your day with gratitude. And you guys, again, how many of us know this, right? Oh, I know, I've heard that. Should start my day with gratitude. I should write in a gratitude journal. I'm going to buy the journal. I bought the journal. It's sitting on the side of my bed. You know it, right? We know we should start our day with gratitude, but are you doing it? Do you do it? I want to fully encourage you. I'm a Miracle Morning believer. Miracle Morning has been amazing for me to actually wake up, to have quiet time to myself, to be grateful, to work out just a little bit, to read, to be prayerful, to do personal development. But he says, prime the pump, start your day with gratitude, like truly start your day with gratitude. So I want to challenge you guys, straight challenge, to start your day earlier. Set your clock 15 minutes earlier. I would really encourage you to do 30 minutes. It's all in your mind, right? You can do it. It's all in your mind. And start your day with true gratitude. Like sit down, like even just for me, like this is water, but I usually drink coffee in the morning. Like I sit on my couch, I make my coffee. So I have my coffee already in the morning. When I wake up, I start my coffee and then I go sit on the couch and I just close my eyes for a minute. And the first thing I think of is, oh, it's so nice how warm this coffee is right now. And it's, it's like cold in the morning, right? Like nobody wants to get out of their warm bed and sit on their cold couch early in the morning. It's not like, oh, I just can't wait to get out of my warm bed in the morning. But just sitting there and just being grateful for like, oh, and I am so thankful for all the blessings, for my house, for my kids, for my job, for you girls, for changes your day. Changes your day. So you need to do it. He talks about what you get is what you tolerate. Which I love. So if your life is at a level, you're tolerating it, right? Even if you're unhappy, you might be unhappy and be like, this sucks. I can't wait to get out of this town, or, to think of like young high school reference or whatever, like, oh, I'm going to change this or change that. But at the end of the day, if you tolerate it, you're going to be stuck there. And so for me, with my personal example, I've always tolerated my unorganization, my inability to be efficient and productive in the things that I do. I can get a lot of stuff done. I can get a lot of stuff done more than most people even, right? But in my eyes, for the level of achievement and for the level of purpose I feel in my life, I needed to up my game. But I tolerated it, right? And I tolerated it and I made excuses for it. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, oh, my brain just doesn't work that way. I say that all the time. Like, my brain doesn't work that way. I'm a creative person. Oh, it's just not one of my gifts. I have a lot of gifts, but productivity isn't one of them. Like, I even said that to you guys when I hopped on here. Truth be told, I was tolerating it. And I was making excuses for it. And at the end of the day, I just needed a stronger why to really, really change it. And now I know I can. Now I know that anytime there's that bullshit thought going into my head that I can't do it, I'm just creative, my brain doesn't work that way, that's an excuse that I've heard, that I've thought, and then that I've made my reality. And that's what happens a lot of the times, you guys. Things that we grow up with affect us, things that we tell ourselves affect us, and then that becomes our reality. So if your reality isn't what you want it to be, you got to get better thoughts, and it's possible. Go like the Giving Girls page. We're going to talk about this so much more. I'll share the link. Sorry, I'm just reading. We do a lot of sharing. There's a lot of sharing with strangers about what you want your life to be. I cried with a lot of strangers. I danced with a lot of strangers, and I hugged and I high-fived a lot of strangers. And it was awesome. Okay, so 3 decisions from there. What are you going to focus on? What does that mean? And what you're going to do with it. So that's kind of like the action plan, right? Like, how am I going to change? What am I going to focus on? What does it mean? And what am I going to do? Your mind will never make you fulfilled. Your mind can only make you stressed. So fulfillment comes in execution, right? Fulfillment comes when it is done. Like, you know what I mean? You've been there. You've done something in your life where there was like, it was done and you maybe thought it was hard and then you got it and you're like, that was so fulfilling, right? But the more you think about doing it, if you aren't actually doing it, it just becomes stressful. So don't just live in your mind that it's going to be an unfulfilling place. You need to start executing action to get there. And even if you don't know how, it doesn't matter if you know the how. It's that you decide to start executing in some way, even if it's failure. And Tony talks about this too. Tony talks all about like, you're only a failure if you do nothing, right? Like for most instances, and he even did this, I can't remember what activity we did, but he was like, a lot of you failed. Oh, it was Simon Says. We played Simon Says. And he like, you know, okay, if you don't do this, you're out. So as, of course, all of us people started sitting down until there's only one person left on the stage. And he's like, okay, he's like, now let me tell you, if you all could do that again, would you do it better next time? And we're all like instantly, right? Once you see it all play out, you're like, oh, I wasn't quite paying attention as clearly as I could have been. For sure, I could have gone farther. If we would have played it right then again, I could have gone farther in Simon Says. And he's like, so, I mean, you guys failed, right? Most of you, except this one guy up here, you all failed. But you learned something, right? Next time you would do better. So that's not a failure, right? So I need you guys to think about that too, is that when we fail, I hate that word anyways. I hate the word failure. If something doesn't go like you planned, if the outcome wasn't as great as you had hoped for, that doesn't mean you're a failure. I hear so many people, and there's one person out there, you're gonna know who you are because I was just talking to you this morning. I'm just not good at online parties. I'm just not good at, in person. I'm just not good at booking. I'm not good at the SeneGence choice. Well, if we're being honest with ourselves, and I'm holding myself to this standard too, we move forward. You probably learned a few things, even if the outcome wasn't what you wanted it to be. And now you know what to apply next time so you can go farther, right? It's not a failure, it's a learning experience. And we all need to change our mind, and with life, right? For SeneGence and for outside of SeneGence. It is truly a learning curve. We're just learning along the way. Just it wasn't the outcomes we wanted initially, but we'll get to the outcomes we want because we're not going to give up. Okay, so he talks about power of problems, and he talked a little bit about the power of problems, you guys. And problems are a sign of life, right? And I think all of us, again, we kind of know that. We've probably heard that, like blessed to have problems. Any day you have problems is a day you're above the ground. So that is just a good way to start, again, reframing your beliefs, where your mind's at, where your focus is, that problems aren't like the worst case scenario. Even if there's seemingly horrible problems it seems like you're facing, that's a sign of life. That's a sign that you have the ability to stretch yourself and to go farther. Okay, he talks about 2 skills to master for a lasting, full life. One of those is the art of fulfillment. So success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And I talk with my husband a lot about this too. Like, my husband is a person that's always thinking about what else there could be, right? There could be more. Well, we have this, but it could be this. We have, and it's like, you will never be fulfilled in your mind. Remember, I just said that a little while ago. And you'll also never be fulfilled if you can't learn to appreciate what's around you, right? So you can be striving for all the success you want in SeneGence, but if you can't start to feel fulfilled with what you have now, more success likely won't bring you fulfillment, right? That fulfillment's an internal thing. And the science of achievement. So how do I take the invisible and make it visible, right? So we talked about that as well too, of you want to, it's the when it's done, it's the execution that makes fulfillment so sweet. And the step in doing that is just taking the step, right? Doing the big scary things. But it's all in here what we make scary. We add meaning to that. Oh my gosh. I'm like, Sabrina, I can't believe I've been on for 42 minutes, but I like want to tell you guys everything. Like, I feel like you're all like my best friends and you need to know about this. I'm going to try to fast forward just a little bit. Like, literally, I basically packed like nearly 50 hours into like, you know, like a few days. It's hard to cover it all in just an hour. So he talked a little bit about move your body, change the channel. So the idea, if you're struggling, like if you're on a channel that you don't like, if something in your life is like fuzzy, grainy, annoying, change your body, change the channel. So get up, dance, do 5 jumping jacks, do something silly, stick out your tongue and go, nah, like do something silly, right? He talks about like, you can change your whole life today, literally like, all in this thing. I can't believe, he said this specifically, and I love this. He goes, life is too fucking short to suffer. When I start to suffer, I give it 90 seconds. I give myself 90 seconds to kill it. So he said, if you ever, and he started to refer to low energy as suffering, right? Because it is depression, hate, jealousy. That's suffering, you guys. That's suffering. Joy, gratefulness, excitement, enthusiasm. That's blessed, like, right? We want to get out of suffering and we want to live blessed. So he said, give it 90 seconds to kill it. He said, if you get in a spot where you're like, oh, my freaking boss, or these kids, or flat tire again, give yourself 90 seconds. You have that ability to do it. Talks about expectation will kill your joy. So you guys, this is a strong one for me. This is a powerful one. And I shared a video not very long ago about like expectation with SeneGence. And this was one that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to talk to you girls about this. And we need to get real on it too. So the video talks about, you know, that I shared before about how we all signed up for a reason. What was our reason? And have you done that? Right. So like for me, when I signed up, I thought, if I can make an extra $200 a month, that would be awesome. Well, now I have expectations and like above and beyond that, I feel like I might be failing. And I know a lot of you are the same way too, right? Of like, oh, I should be here and I should have ranked to this rank already, or I should be selling this much, or I should be doing this or be doing that. I expect. You have expectations for where you should be at, what it should be going like, what the return in this opportunity should be for you. And Tony says, expectation will kill your joy. And he said, most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. And guys, I love that. I love that. And if you hear Tony's story, I'm not going to go into detail with all of it. He has had a lot of down, but over 10 years, plus 10 years, plus 10 years, you guys, he's been doing this for 40 years. He is like at the top of his games. You guys, he owns multi-companies. He is like a powerhouse of a man, the best in his field, doing the best. But there were times when he was not that, you guys, going straight downhill. But mental tenacity, he got through it all and he's at the top of his game. And I think that's something that we really can apply to your expectations that you might have in this business. I mean, again, get real with yourself. You can share below. Let me know below if you want to share. But how many of us start and we're frustrated when we're not making hundreds of dollars? You know, I thought I'd be making $1,000 a month by now, right? And you're 60 days in. That expectation, that level of growth is going to kill your joy. You cannot be joyful for your accomplishments if your expectations are off the wall, right? And we in SeneGence, it's really a challenge for us, right? Because we've seen a lot of you guys joined when things were booming overnight, crazy fast. So then your expectations went there, right? It's like with little kids, right? If you have a little kid and on their, you know, first birthday party or maybe their second birthday party when they can really remember, you like blow their birthday party. You're like, I got for the second pony birthday party because they're little, we're getting them ponies and clowns and I'm hiring their favorite superhero character to come and Moana's going to be there and we're going to sing and there's going to be cupcakes and little prize packages for everybody. If you do that for their second birthday party, they've got this expectation. Then all the little kids and everybody else coming to that birthday party, they're going to not have any joy at the third birthday party. The third birthday party could still be really great. Maybe you have it at a bowling alley and there's make your own pizza. But their expectation was so damn high for the second birthday party that the third birthday party is like, well, this is lame, right? Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself in your own business, that you set this expectation so high that it takes your joy from what you are achieving. Because you guys, So many of you, you're achieving amazing things, right? You're doing amazing things. You're getting out of your comfort zone. You're talking to people you wouldn't normally talk to. You're selling product on the regular. You guys are getting out selling products maybe you've never sold before. You're signing up for vendor shows. You're signing up new downlines. You're building teams. But you're still shooting yourself in the foot because it seems like your expectation is so high that that doesn't feel good enough and it's taking away your joy. So I want to be here to be the chief joy operational officer, that we've got to kind of have a reality check and say that we are overestimating what we can do in a year and underestimating what we can do in 10 years. Because think about it. Think about how many other women out there that are overestimating what they can do in a year that won't be here. They might not even be here in 6 months because they give up, because they overestimated what their expectations should be, where they should be at with things. And then in 10 years, they're not even around. They gave up a long time ago because they had these big expectations. But because you have healthy, manageable expectations, you're celebrating the small things, you're having joy in what you do, that 10 years from now, you're looking back like, you guys should have stuck around. It was a slow climb, but look where I'm at now, right? Like, how powerful is that? That was huge. And when he was talking about that, I'm like, oh, this is a major struggle in the SeneGence world. I'm just saying, like, this is something in our world at SeneGence, and it's not just our world, right? There's a lot of other companies, jobs, opportunities, people in life that their expectation is stealing their joy. But I think that's something especially that we see here within the SeneGence communities, is you see other girls going up in ranking and all this, and all you can look at is what you're not doing. Change your focus, change your state, change your physiology, change your state, find joy. And you guys, the whole game is going to change for you. This whole business, this whole game is going to change for you, because you're not going to be focused on what you're not. You're going to be celebrating all the stuff you are, and it's going to become a lot more fun, and people are going to see that, and they're going to be contagious and going to be drawn to you. You see where I'm going with this? It's good stuff, right? Okay. Then he kind of talks about mindset and, like, don't live in a mindset that you've outgrown. So back for me, my mindset was, I'm just not productive. I'm just not organized. It's just not me. Just not me. You guys, that might have served me at some point in my life, right? Like, our brain is always trying to protect us. It's a primal thing. It's a very primal, like, piece of our body. But we have to take action to stay in our heads, to not let our minds, our primal mind, control us. Because thoughts that you may have had, a big one I know for a lot of, like, women, right? Like, we have insecurities, or, like, maybe that feeling of unloved. Like, to be loved is one of the most, like, basic needs as a human. So a lot of us suffer with the feeling of fear, I should say, the fear of being unloved. So, there's a lot of people, I'm just going to take a generalized reference, like a lot of people that maybe had a horrible relationship, maybe made them feel unlovable, and they're in a new great relationship, but they're sabotaging it because they don't feel they're lovable. Well, that thought, there may have been a situation where that thought was relevant, but it's not moving forward, and you need to take it out of your mind that you're unlovable, because you will create that, right? We create what we think. So if you're thinking, I'm no good at this, you guys, probably not going to be any good at this. That's the stuff. And I know I kind of have said things like that before, and you've read encouragements like that before, but you have to change your focus, change your physiology, change your state. Otherwise, you're going to keep living in the same spot. I also know there's a lot of you guys out there that, like, I'm an ass kicker and I can do this, and this is kind of challenging and exciting, and I'm going for it. And what are you doing? You're excited, you're having fun, you're going for it, you're doing the things. So I don't want to just say that it's all negativity out there, because there's a lot of you that are totally just, like, killing it, but you're killing it because you're living in a high energy state, your focus is in the right spot, you're focused on what you can do, where you can go, and that you're going there and you're doing the things. Does that make sense? Am I making sense on all of this? So much. There's so much. I'm not going to go into that stuff. I'm going to... Okay. That is like a bulk. There's so much more. I just can't go over all of it. I will try to in the future. Maybe I'll do, like, Tony Robbins tidbits or something like that moving forward. Because I want to do more of it, because I just want you to know the repetition, right? When I share stuff with you more frequently, that's a repetition for me to solidify, to build the muscular connections, the pathways in my mind, to build those highways stronger. So when I went to Tony Robbins, there were a lot of pathways in my mind that did not exist. And it was like through emotion, thinking, dancing, movement, physiology, focus, I created highways in 4 days, right? So probably not going to get a highway out of this, but you're at least going to get like some gravel on your road, okay? It's going to get a little bit of a stronger pathway. But the more I repeat it, it's going to help you, and the more I repeat it, it's going to help me. But again, the more you guys do outside, personal development wise, Tony Robbins podcast, you can listen to, there's a life coach podcast I love, Jenna Kutcher, Lindsay Teague Moreno. There's so many good podcasts to keep building your muscular highways. So they are so awesome and amazing. And anyways, I will share with you before I go. Okay, three more things, guys. Hang with me. 3 more things. 3 forms of communication. I thought this was fascinating. I'm a words person. I'm a communication person. I love this. Words represent 7% of what actually influences human behavior. So the little words you're saying are just 7% of what influences behavior. So like I've heard before, like, well, I don't know what else I should say. I said this. This is what I messaged them. This is what I said. You're not affecting very much behavior, and you're not influencing very much with just your words alone. What matters is your voice quality. So how you're saying it, that affects 38% of human behavior. So what's your tone? What's your rate? Are you excited? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. My rate is really fast. My voice is really high. Are you like, I'm really excited. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be fun, you guys. What is your voice quality? And then your physiology, right, you guys? So your physiology affects 55% of human behavior. So something to think about as you're doing parties, vendor shows, demos, your videos, like you see when I get excited, I come in towards you, I talk louder, I talk faster. That you guys feel that more, right? When I'm just sitting here and Tony Robbins was so amazing, you guys. It was life-changing. My life has changed versus, oh my gosh, you guys, Tony Robbins was so amazing. It was life-changing. You guys are never going to believe versus, you guys, oh, Tony Robbins was so freaking amazing. You have to go. You see the difference? You see the difference in those 3 ways I presented that same exact information? So something to be aware of, even when you're doing your videos, and we all know that like video is going to be like, it's becoming king in the Facebook world. So when you're sharing things, when you're talking about it, throw in your personality, make some movement in there, get excited, do what feels you, but also get excited, add that excitement, add that flavor to it, because then people are really going to feel you. They're going to get that emotional. They're going to be engaged that whole entire time. So that makes it more interesting. Okay. Last 2 things. I'm going to tell you a little bit about right? You like want to know maybe how it ended up for me. Like, am I really going to be a more productive person? I feel yes. And the thing about Tony Robbins, my friend Cassie said this amazingly. It's not like my husband was afraid that I was going to come home and I was going to be like changed and different. I'm not a different person from going to Tony Robbins, but I am transformed. Like the Brandi, that like the higher, I just imagine like, right, God created me. I'm a believer in Christ. Like God created me in his perfect image. Like I am designed for an absolute purpose here on earth. I didn't really feel like I was living up to it, right? I think we can relate to that. I felt like I unlocked more of what I truly am capable of, right? So I'm not any different. It's just the things that I was beating myself up on that I felt like I was falling short on, I now have the tools to change my mind to not do that anymore. And that's where I will sing Tony Robbins praises till the day is over, because it's not like a motivation. It's not like, yay, we all felt really good for a while. Like I dug out some of the crap inside of me so I could access the best parts of me more deeply, if that makes sense. Really, really deep analogies here. But that's how it really felt. And you guys, there's some ugly that came out. When you go to UPW, because some of you have to go, you will experience it. But I dug all that crap out, not all of it. I dug a lot of that crap out, and I have now access to deeper parts of the best of me, which I'm ecstatic about. So that's how it ended up for me. I feel clarity in how I can be more productive. And I also know that when I start to doubt myself, I know how to change it, get out of that state and get back into, I'm a capable badass and I can do whatever I want because I'm in control of my mind, right? So step up, Brittany, if you're still on there. The last thing I want to leave you guys with is, if you're not driving, if you're at home, if you're in front of your computer, if you're on your phone, if you're in a place where you don't need to be like totally concentrating and using both your hands, I want you to raise your hand, put it up as high as you can. You guys doing it? Do it. Do it right now, okay? Raise your hand up as high as you can. Put it above your head, right? Okay. So I'm going to guess most of you, and I have to like back up a little bit so you can see. So I'm going to guess most of you, like you raised your hand, so like this, right? Like I raised my hand. I want you to now like raise it up as high, like stretch, right? Stretch and grow a little bit. You can raise your hand a lot higher. And that was an analogy that I talked with a few of the coaches there, just kind of like looking into maybe some like one-on-one coaching sessions. I just wanted to know more about it, like what it entailed. And that was what one of the people said, that I was like, that is something that I'm going to do with my girls all the time now, because most of us with our SeneGence business, we've got our hands up as high as we think we can go, right? How many of you guys thought when I said raise your hand up over your head, you put it up like this and you thought, so that's as high as I can go. That's it. That's as high as I can go. But when you say stretch a little higher, stretch a little higher, stretch a little higher, oh wait, I actually can go a lot farther than I thought I could go. The same thing, we have that same ability in our business. I know we all have to find balance and we're all creating and growing, but I want to just encourage you to think about the fact that if you think I'm doing everything I can do, like Tony said, you haven't done everything you can do until it's done. End of story. You haven't done everything until the goal is reached, the mission is accomplished. You have not done everything you can do until the mission is accomplished. Same thing that applies to our business, right? So something to think about with your goals is if you're like, Brandi, I just can't do anymore. I just can't do anymore, right? It's everything. I'm doing it. And this applies, again, I'm talking to myself here too, right? I've had those thoughts. I just can't. I have no more time. I can't do any more. I am maxed out. There's no way. This is max potential for Brandi. If we're all being really honest, we can stretch a little farther. And it's a little uncomfortable, right? Like as if I'm stretching to the tippy top of where I'm going, straight uncomfortable, you guys, right? Straight uncomfortable. I don't necessarily want to sit there like that, but we can do it. And when we stretch and grow, all of a sudden, what was really hard becomes comfortable. And then we're just doing that automatically. And that's how I feel with my productivity is I've got a couple of new systems in place that feel freaking uncomfortable right now, you guys. It feels uncomfortable for me to be an organized human being. I don't like it. But what feels uncomfortable now and will probably feel uncomfortable for the next couple weeks is going to become routine. It's going to become habit. I'm going to be awesome at it before too long. And I'll be ready to grow, become more productive, become more of a badass, become more awesome. I'm really looking forward to this. And I hope you guys are too. I hope you guys all got some nuggets. I'm like scared to see how long I've been on here because it's probably been forever. But I hope there's some things that you took away. And if you like, we can do some more like Tony tidbits moving forward because like I said, I am totally cool with building my highways and super highways even stronger in my mind. So we can all be executing at our highest level of awesome more often. So you guys have a happy Monday. I hope you take forward the state change. If nothing else out of this video, you're like, that's all too big. That's too much. I don't know. Take the state change away, right? As soon as you feel a state change come on, we all have our phones with us. You have access to Pandora or your iTunes or search a YouTube video or something. Turn on a song that you love, crank it up, dance for 5 seconds. I swear, state change, it will change your whole entire week. So have a good one. We'll talk to you guys later.